Welcome to the College Essay Advisors podcast. Before we introduce ourselves, here's a little preview of what's to come.
There are so many different ways to write what we would consider to be an uncommon essay. So this book sort of tries to help demystify that process and breaks things down into step-by-step pieces in what we call our uncommon college essay process. Welcome to the College Essay Advisors podcast, an ongoing exploration of how to write admissions essays that get you noticed and accepted. Hi, my name is Stacey Brooke, and I'm the founder and chief advisor of College Essay Advisors.
Hi, my name is Becca Myers, and I am the Director of Advising at College Essay Advisors.
And today we're going to talk to you about CEA's new book. Yay!
Stacey, you wrote a book.
Yes, I did write a book. And it is called The Uncommon College Essay, an Approachable Guide to an Intimidating Process. And it is meant to help guide students through the very intimidating process of writing college admissions essays, everything from the personal statement to school-specific supplements. And I'm hoping it's going to help many students in years to come.
So, what I'm getting from your title is that many students feel intimidated by this process, that there is a way to make it approachable and break it down. And also, it's
Thank you,
great to
Becca.
write something. Yeah, there's great to write something that's less common.
Yes. I mean, the uncommon college essay is a little bit of a play on the common application essay. It's what most people think about when they think about that high pressure assignment of having to talk about yourself in 650 words. And we do want that common app essay to be uncommon. We want it to be something that helps differentiate you from similarly qualified applicants. And there are many ways to do that. That doesn't always mean you need to have a story that's, completely stand out, something that's happened to you that hasn't happened to anyone else. It can be the angle you approach a story from, the style you write in. There are so many different ways to write what we would consider to be an uncommon essay. So this book sort of tries to help demystify that process and breaks things down into step-by-step pieces in what we call our uncommon college essay process.
That's great. And I like that you established that it's not just about picking an uncommon topic, because one of the biggest student concerns that I get is that you can't write about soccer or you can't write about like a study abroad. And that's not true. You just have to find the right approach. You have to think about what it connects to. And also stylistically, you can differentiate yourself by just your unique voice. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And there are tests in the book that kind of help guide you and sort of serve as touchstones along the way, things that you can look for. Is there a differentiating factor? Is there a hook there that makes someone want to read your essay? What's the message that you're hoping to convey? What are you hoping to ultimately at your core say to admissions? What do you want the admissions takeaway to be? What do you want them to think about you when you're finished, when they're finished reading the essay? So those are all things that I think if you can focus on those, or at least kind of touch base with those goals while you're generating your topic, engaging with free writing questions, sculpting your story. If you have those goals as a guideline, it's truly helpful in making your essay uncommon.
so I'm going to play the role of Barbara Walters slash Terry Gross. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about how the book is constructed. So you mentioned that they're tests. Can you walk us through, if I'm a parent or a student purchasing this book, what can I get out of it in terms of the
Absolutely.
different sections?
Sure. Well, the first section is essentially an introduction to why is the college essay important in the first place, which is something that we talk about a ton on our website and on this podcast. What impact can the college essay have? And I think it's a book that's useful both for people who are familiar with the process and also those who are diving in for the first time, because it does give you that fundamental understanding and also present some new insights you might not have heard before about why the college essay is important, especially in this moment in time where the field is ultra competitive. Test scores have sort of been swinging in and out in terms of in terms of a metric that schools are using at all. And I think writing skills are something that ultimately can help you express yourself in a way that interviews used to, when those don't happen quite as often anymore, or certainly not in the way that they used to, in terms of bearing weight. So first, sort of the impact of the college essay is explained. Then, what is a personal statement? This is often the first time a student has even attempted to write using the first person, saying I, writing in a slightly more casual conversational tone. So there's a little bit of an overview about what is that like? What is this supposed to look like? What is this supposed to sound like? And then the uncommon college essay process piece begins, where the phases of essay writing are broken down into four digestible pieces. Just briefly, brainstorming, free writing, story sculpting, and polishing to perfection. And there's cute, funny language, lots of anecdotes, suggested exercises, and I think just an engaging way of helping to actually walk students through the process.
And each phase connects to a phase of the moon. Is that right?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. So another question I often get from parents is, can you send us some essay samples? So does the book
Mhm.
include actual essays that are broken down so you can have a model?
I do include college essay examples, real college essay examples from students we've worked with, but only in pieces, because I do generally urge students and parents both not to rely too heavily on examples. I think there sometimes that influx can pollute the brain and almost squash creativity, or set up this impossible standard for someone to live up to, or make someone think that they need to write a certain kind of essay because one essay was successful and blew up on social media. So I usually tell people to steer clear of essay examples as much as they can. However, I know people love them. I know people want to see how things progress. So I have broken down um a bunch of essays that we thought were extremely successful, and also point out why I think they're successful, which I think is the more important part, quite honestly.
That's great. Can I add an addendum to that question
Yeah,
about to my own question about
of
why you
course, of
shouldn't
course you
rely?
can. You're
Okay.
Terry Gross.
So last year, I was working with a student who had a sibling I worked with years before. And I noticed in the first student's draft that the cadence of the language and the example was very similar to their siblings' essay from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked them, and not in a accusatory way, because
Accusatory. Mm-hmm.
obviously, yeah, definitely, you know me. But I asked them, and they said, yeah, I was looking at my sister's essay because she got into all of these top tier schools, and I said, we're going to put that away, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do it on our own. And the essay that this student produced in their own voice without relying heavily on a successful model, air quotes,
Mm-hmm.
because it was
Mm-hmm.
successful for that person,
Right.
was so much stronger
I believe
for
it.
their own application. And so that's one
Mm-hmm.
of the reasons why when parents ask me, please, can I see what has gotten someone into Harvard in the past? I explain why that's not productive.
Right.
That Costco essay that was circulating years ago, that was,
Yes.
sort of quirky. That always gets brought up to me. Like, should I do a fun grocery store essay comparing myself to ramen? And I say, is that your voice? No, no, no. I'm
Right.
a much more serious person. I don't even eat ramen. And I say, okay, well then that's probably not the right approach for you.
Yep.
So I love that you have little examples, but that you don't exert or you don't like
Completely.
put a whole essay. Yeah, yeah.
The only full essay that is an example in the entire book is an essay that I write as I take students through the process. I actually took myself through the process, which was quite a test and really fun. And also, while I was doing it, really scary, because I was like, I hope this works. We've been doing this with students for 2 decades. I hope it works with me. Um, so I took myself
Where
through
did you
every.
get in?
I'm gonna find out in,
Stacy's
oh no,
going to
it's
Yale
July.
next year. Yeah.
Absolutely, creative writing program. Um, I took myself through everything, so you'll see the results of my backwards brainstorm. You'll see the results of me free writing my face off, sculpting my story, and polishing to perfection. And I actually really love the essay that came out of it all. It's about me being a plant mom. And I think that the exercises really awoke something in me. Quite honestly, I had just hadn't engaged in it myself in quite some time. Although I will say that in my own writing for my own personal essays, I give myself free writing exercises a ton in the same way that we recommend for students. So I do actually use a lot of these tactics in my own writing generally, but just that whole front to back process, getting something down to 650 words, like really tweaking things in a way where like, will admissions like me if I submit this? I think it would have been successful. And I do think that that this example is helpful because since I am not a 17-year-old young woman anymore, I think you can see what a successful personal essay looks like without that comparative component because yeah, you're not going to write the same essay that I will as a 42-year-old plant mom.
Yeah. So you already sort of addressed my next question, which is about what the process of writing the book helped you discover about helping students with essays. You've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm wondering if having to write the essay yourself and engage in the material in a fresh way because you're thinking about how to present it as a book, if that helped you discover new things about yourself as a business owner, about a coach, about, the process of doing this.
I think that something that I tend to think about and be reminded of every year is something that I noticed with the book, which is that the small things that we take for granted as advisors that we think most people will know, it's really helpful to remind people of those small tips. They do help. Everything from what small moments in a life could potentially make for a successful topic to how to kind of just spit things out on the page in a free write and not worry about the quality of what you're writing before you go back and take a peek. I mean, I tell students don't think, just write. Don't throw anything out. Don't trash your files. Don't erase anything. Keep it all on the page. I think things like that where students can get entrenched in a certain kind of process and we can suggest other ways of doing things to them that just feel normal to us because this is how we do things all the time. I think that that's probably gonna be helpful to a lot of people.
And for our listeners who are maybe tuning in for the first time, Stacey and I are both active writers. So we are used to not
We
just
try.
thinking about, we try, not just thinking about this process for our students, but also how to execute it in our own writing
Hmm.
using that first person. So I like that you're sort of presenting it every time we work with the student. We try to present it as if it's the first time that we're explaining it because we do write in the first person all the time and it's so
Yep.
familiar. But I remember being in high school and not having ever done that. I only wrote essays on The Great Gatsby and they weren't about
Yes,
me. So,
completely. I also think, the book does try to give a fairly comprehensive overview of the admissions essay writing process overall. So thinking about strategy for school specific supplements, what kinds of topics might you want to save and use for a Y essay or a community essay? What elements of your personality or experience maybe are more compelling in that personal statement category? Just kind of thinking about how to use all of your strengths, talents, motivations, experiences to best effect. I think that's something that students have a lot of trouble with often too. The brainstorming idea generation part of the process, as I think you'll agree, is typically where people get stuck. So we spend a lot of time talking
mhm.
about that.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. Stacey, it was an honor to interview you. I'm so excited to read the book
Thank
and learn
you.
how to write an essay.
I will say it
And
is a very quick, I think it's literally going to print right now. I think it's like 160 pages or something. It's a pretty quick hit, like a one day. You can blow through it. Obviously, you can continue to reference it as you write your actual essay. It is available for pre-order now in a bunch of different places, so you can purchase it right this very second. And I think orders go out in a month. The book's ship.
wow.
So
Are you going to record an audio book? Are you doing an audio version?
I would love to. We have so many more things happening here. Just stay tuned. There's a lot coming out of College Essay Advisors headquarters this year. We're in it. We're in it to win it. Now's the time. Read the book. Go look at our website and get your ideas a rolling. And if you need help, call us.
Read the book before you see the movie, guys, right?
Indeed. Thanks so much, everybody.
That's our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you like our content, please like and subscribe to follow us for more. Happy writing.